Hello, my name is Sachin Mahajan, and today I'm going to walk you through my Sinatra ActiveRecord project. For my project, I built a basic content management service application called Reading List, where users can track the books that they're currently reading. So first, we had to go to our terminal here, and I've started up the server for us to save time by running the command shotgun, and we can go take a look at the app that's running right now. So here on the main page, the user is first greeted, and they have the option to sign up for an account if they haven't done so already, or they can just go ahead and log in. So we'll click on that and go through that process. So here I'll enter in my username, which was just my first name here, and a password. Go ahead and log in. Once the user's logged in, they have a couple options here. They can go to the books index page. And on this page, they can see all of the books that are currently in this index by any user. Back to their reading list here with this link. So on their reading list, these are now the books that this particular user, in this case me, has entered in. And you can see that because this is the current user, they're allowed to edit that book. They're also allowed to delete that book. And finally, they can also go ahead and add more books to their list. So let's go try that. So we'll go ahead and add a new book here. I hope you guys like reading because this is a good one. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. We'll call that genre is sci-fi. And we'll go ahead and hit the add a book button. Give it a second here to load, and if we scroll down here on the reading list, you'll notice that the new book was added, Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. And I noticed that I made a little error, so let's go ahead and edit that very quickly. So I can go ahead and change that capitalization, hit update. And then as it loads here, if I scroll back down, it should have made that change for me. So there you can see the O is now not capitalized. So basically, I've kept it very simple here. I did not take too much time worrying about style. I'll save that for future projects. But functionality-wise, the user is able to use all of the CRUD functions necessary. They can create new books. They can update. They can delete any of their titles from this app. And then when they are finished, you can't see it here at the bottom of the page here, but there's a log out button. Go ahead and log the user out. And that should return us back to the login page here where they can go through the process again. So that's the basic app. Let's take a quick look at the code here. I want to show you a few things. So let's minimize this. So here, one thing I did want to talk about is that we have to keep in mind the separation of concerns when we're creating an application, meaning you want to have code separated into different sections so it's easier for you to later find errors and debug them as necessary. So the best way to do that in this kind of application is using the MVC file formatting, which stands for Model Views Controller. And so you can see here in my application folder, I have a models folder, I have a views folder, and I have a controllers folder. So very quickly, models, this is kind of the brain of the app. This is where ActiveRecord comes in. I have a couple classes, one for my user, one for my book. And you can see there's not a lot going on in code here because that's the fun of ActiveRecord. It's doing all of those Ruby object-oriented methods that you need to manipulate data. It's all done for you, which saves a lot of time. So then let's go to the views. This is what the user interface will look like. So you might remember that when we went to the first page, we had a welcome to the reading list app with a couple of links to log in and sign up. So very basic. So you remember that. And then of course, when the user is actually logged in, here under users, here is the login page as an example and a form for them to submit that data. And as you know, and then they go to their book list. I'll show you that one and then we'll move on. So here is the books page, and here are a few links for the user to make it easy to navigate around, and then it's just pulling the titles that belong to that user. And finally, the controller, which is where you'll spend most of your time coding, debugging. This is where I had issues that I had to find. I've got an application controller here that just does a few helper methods. It starts all of my sessions and goes to that main index page. Then the users method, which is responsible for all of the user interaction, like signing up for an account, logging into account, logging out of an account. And then I have a books controller here. And this is where all of the information pertinent to books will be available, where if you want to look up a particular book, if you want to add all of the data to the new book into your reading list, this is where all that code would go. So I know that was very quick and very brief, but I hope that you got a little sense of what my app is capable of. And I really liked building this app, and it's been a learning process for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this short video. Thanks, and happy coding.